And we are back. Folks, this is your last warning. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers for episode number 3 of the Book of Boba. If you don't want to get spoiled about anything, don't listen any further. Save this and come back. Okay, you got 3 seconds. Wookiee attacks, speeder bike chases, and motivations for vengeance set in motion on this episode number 3 of the Bookend.
Stand by to receive our transmission. Stand by to receive our transmission. Stand by, stand by, stand by, stand by. Join us. Impressive.
Welcome back to the Bookend, the unauthorized, uncensored, unsanctioned, and unasked for AfterShow for the Book of Boba Fett. Episode number 3, The Streets of Mos Espa. I am one of your hosts, Silas Lindenstein, and with me is my co-host, Brian Trendler. Welcome. He's the one dressed as Boba Fett, obviously. Perfect Halloween costume. And we have a special guest today. Derrick VanSoolen, also a fellow Star Wars nerd. He has a new podcast coming out, and I wanted to get him on here, both to sort of a preemptive promo of his upcoming podcast, and to talk some Star Wars, because sometimes we just need to have some talks.
Solving real world problems here.
Huh?
Solving real world problems here.
The real world problems is what everyone should focus on now. You know what? If everyone just stayed home and watched Star Wars, COVID would go away.
It's true.
Just stay home and watch
hours in it, yeah.
Every Star Wars. By the time you finish everything, it's cleared out, right? If you watched all Star Wars properties,
True.
it'd all be good.
And played the games and read the books.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Everything.
The comics are great,
World peace.
right?
Yeah.
That means watching like the prequels too.
Well, yeah.
So
if you could dream.
I got a preview of Brian's reaction to the episode.
You want to read it?
Initial reaction to the episode.
I absolutely hated it last night.
Okay.
Hated it beyond words, but okay. I will say I have now watched snippets again this morning to calm myself down, and I feel a little bit better because I looked at it then with an objective eye. With the objective eye being what is happening and why those things happening, and is it going to be okay? And I have a little bit more faith now. So,
okay.
Yeah, I had to watch it twice. I was like, is this really as bad as I'm watching? Like, I almost wanted to go back and watch Clone Wars. It was so bad. Like,
you guys cracked me up. Now, Brian, I wasn't surprised because Brian does not like Act 2. I learned that during The Mandalorian when he was complaining about episodes. I was like,
"Oh, do you mean the apex?" I was like, "That is Grogu down."
You don't like Act 2. You don't like Act 2. You don't like the development episodes. You want the story.
This was more like a canker sore episode.
Canker sore. I really enjoyed. I was like, it was a shorter episode, I believe, than any of the others so far.
It's like 33 minutes, I think.
Yeah, of actual story. Because like it said 10 minutes left. I think the credits are like 7 minutes.
Yeah, it was actually 12 minutes of quality, 32 minutes worth of bull.
Okay, well, we're gonna break this down and try to figure out and diagnose both of your problems and figure out why you did not like the Streets of Mos Espa.
Yeah.
Okay. So we open up. I'll call it present day, whatever. So inaction of the story, right? Present day.
In a scuba tank.
No, doesn't open up there. Neither of you like to take the episode in the order. Like, you guys have Pulp Fiction memories of this show.
How the episodes are, they jump around so much.
No. Very clear. It opens up at Jabba's house, the little spider guy.
Yeah.
Little spider.
The monk.
With the brain. Yeah. Walking around. I had looked them up today. Found out who they were.
You didn't know who they were?
I don't look. You know what? I tend to just enjoy these things, and then I don't research.
Why is this guy leading the podcast? He has no idea what he's doing.
Because you don't have to know every bit of minutia
Okay.
enjoy something, right?
It's debatable, but okay.
Just the most terrifying
Yeah.
character in all of Star Wars.
Right.
The freaking monks remove their brains because they feel that that's how they will ascend from leaving their corporeal body. And now they're freaking little tiny ball sack, creepy crawly spiders. Why have all the creatures in Star Wars, did they have to become arachnids?
I don't know. Why do they have to steal everything from Star Trek? I don't know, but that's what would happen here. That's what that is. Hey, it's an old Star Trek premise.
Speaking of Star Trek, I felt like
the
Nikto Striders or Sand Riders, whatever they are, because they have two names. That's what threw me off. I was like, okay, what is their name?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Huh?
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet. All right.
No, we're just at the opening. It opens up.
Silas goes in order, Derrick.
Exposition. Okay. We're going we open up to the exposition of them breaking up the hut, the former hut territory. So hut, little robots talking to Boba Fett about the power vacuum that happened and how they split up territories, which I don't know if things are callbacks or if this just happens in all stories, but I know in the Legends, the everything I paid for, the years of expanded universe that I paid for books, that kind of happened when the Emperor left. When the Emperor left, there's a power vacuum, and it got split up between the Empire, what was left, and the new
all the outlying territories were up to crown.
So this happens when bosses are destroyed, right?
I just like the map. I thought the hologram action coming out of his crotch was pretty cool. 88 is very comfortable with people staring at his crotch map.
I didn't realize until this episode who it was, that was Matt Berry.
Yeah, from the Shadows.
Doing the Shadows, yeah. I love that guy.
And he did the original voice. Apparently, it's him from Return of the Jedi. He was torturing the Gonk droid, which I mean, he was like 12 at that point. I mean, he still had the same voice as 12. Can you imagine going to school with him? Amazing. That'd have been awesome. Hang out with Matt.
Right.
I never think about that. What was James Earl Jones? When did that voice show up?
Can you imagine him in totally
Teacher,
giving the
could
frog.
I get more tater tots with that?
I'm your frog, Luke.
Could I get extra tater tots?
Dissecting the animals in science.
I think it had to have started early because I've been watching. I saw one of Betty White's greatest moments, and it's like the black and white her, and she still sounds like she's 80 years old.
Yeah. Betty White was born at 70 years old, so it's a little known fact.
She actually voiced Ice Noodles. I don't know if you know that. No, I'm just kidding.
So we're starting off with some exposition. They're starting to explain what's going on for the first time. Okay, so we're getting a sense of what's going on in the city, why they're. I felt this episode actually revealed a lot about what was going on. Finally,
it did.
Instead of the clues that we have of what's going on, just kind of laid out. This is the power vacuum. This is what people are doing, and what Boba needs to do to kind of get control of everything. It finally laid out that plan for me. This was the start.
Yeah.
All right. So, and then the water broker comes in. Nice actor. This is what I love about these. They are bringing in some good actors for these.
Root.
Huh?
Stephen Root.
Root? Stephen
Root. He's the guy.
Oh, Stephen Root. Okay. I don't know his name.
Water merchant. I'm working with you, brother. What
a perfect actor though, to be such a sniveling, complaining about those kids next door down the street. Just a perfect actor for that.
I really wish they had given him the Moss, the gal from the recent 3 movies, the really thick goggles, because then he would have looked like his character in Office Space, and he could have been paid off at the end with something that looked like a red stapler. Like when Fennec Shan throws him the $500, she could have said, "Go buy a stapler," and given it some Star Wars term.
They could have put it as a cyborg piece on one of the robots. You know what I mean? It's they took my stapler.
Would have been fantastic.
That's how he upgraded himself. I'm like, no, permanent stapler as a hand. Some people choose a mechanical hand. I chose a stapler.
Transaction over, and stapled the hollow paper or something. Silas, I just need to say really quickly, I don't actually agree that Stephen was the right character or actor to put in here. And I'm starting to see the trend where they're just randomly introducing people and that we all know. And again, is it for fan service? Is it because Steven in real life is just a huge Star Wars fan? So did he sleep with Dave Filoni or Jon Favreau or Robert Rodriguez, who actually directed this episode, which is why the whole thing looks like Alita Battle Angel? And you know, like, what's going on? So why can't they find some people who haven't been before and introduce real new actors to this environment?
New actors? You're saying why are they bringing experienced actors in instead of like newbies?
Just people that we place somewhere else. I mean, okay.
Sorry. Boy, isn't that pigeonholing actors pretty much? Like, if you get a famous role, you're done.
Yes, I think that is how it should be.
Are you saying they should have brought Silas in to be the water merchant?
He would have made a great water merchant.
Right? Well, think of it this way, Brian. Not everyone is as old as you. Some people have never seen Office Space.
Oh, you just played that card. Dude, how old are you?
Because I did not, you know what, the first thing I don't think of him from Office Space when I first see him. I always think of him from stuff like News Radio.
Sure. News Radio or
like I just think of him as a good actor, but he's this one we don't know who he is yet, but sometimes when you put somebody in there is a clue. So you know that he's not going to be he's a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you cast that, if you know, because of his other roles, you're not going to trust him right away. Right. Yeah. And it turns out he is kind of I was like, oh, you are an asshole. That's what you're doing.
Totally overcharging people, trying to get Boba to get rid of the bike gang. That's really just trying to.
That's
why I thought he was perfect for the part. Like I really thought he was.
Yeah.
He was good.
Derrick's in Texas. His opinion.
You know.
That's the problem about playing a killer role, that people associate you more with that characteristic. And it's like, that's not even what he's typecast in most of the time.
Okay, forget I said anything.
Yeah.
Move on.
See, that's why I was calling it the We're Proving Brian Wrong episode.
Yeah.
I liked him in Barry. Did you watch Barry? Where he was the handler?
Yeah.
Right? That
Barry
wasn't typecast. That was
I liked him in True Blood, where he was chained down and drained for blood for like 2 seasons.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
That was creepy. Just saying.
So he comes in to complain about kind of to rile up Boba and saying, hey, yo, you're not doing your job.
Yeah.
I'm getting robbed and you're supposed to be protecting me. So
I'm on your side.
There's this teenage gang. And he hints at that they take droid parts to make themselves better.
Yeah.
Which I believe is also in the Legends books. I think they start talking about that. And I think it's really, from what I remember, I think it's really seen poorly to do it on purpose.
Yeah.
In the universe, like Luke was like, yeah, okay, if you lose an arm, fine. But if you're just replacing your stuff that's kind of sketchy.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and that's why they're outcasts. I mean, they sort of have. So, I mean, can we talk about the biker gang for a second now? Are we enough in order?
I know, that's what I'm thinking too. I'm like,
I want to make sure.
We're not even close to it yet.
Okay, go ahead then.
Hold on, we're getting there. Okay.
Just pretend I'm not.
We'll
start making notes of things I want to say like later.
So Boba then goes and confronts them and kind of gets the truth out of it. The water broker's more like he's profiteering right now. Like he's upcharging all the water.
Yeah.
Like an obscene amount. And Boba's like, yo, that's not cool. And these people stand up to him, these kids, and he knows he needs a gang. And so this is him getting his gang episode, right? Because those big fat green guys who kept up with him on this episode, but first episode, they were too slow. They were too busy drinking their water.
They actually have their little hat / leathery looking helmets on now, so I think they're more aerodynamic now. So they can actually catch up.
So
they're doing a fine job.
So he recruits these kids to like come work for me. So there's apparently no work in the town, and there's supposed to be, which is another failure on Boba's part as the guy who's supposed to be running things. There's supposed to be jobs for everybody.
Yep.
Everyone's supposed to be safe.
Crime lord.
So he kind of fixes that. They only give half payment to the dude, which for me tells me this guy's going to try to turn on Boba again later.
Yeah.
right?
Or is he a one-off character? I'm curious what they'll do there. Will they bring him back? I don't necessarily see that there's value in bringing him back because he is just a water merchant, but I do like the fact that he was like, lower your prices if you want to do business in my city. So he was asserting himself. Boba did a good job with that.
He could also undermine Boba later on.
Yeah, true.
I see him as another one scene character.
Yeah. Like Bill Burr was in Mandalorian. Like he came back later, but
Okay. And so then we get a flashback, right?
Dun, dun,
then
dun.
we get, for no reason at all, they bring us back to the Bacta tank.
I like the flashbacks. I wish they would just stay in the past because it's so much cooler than like the present.
Okay. The flashback, he's going off to try to collect their money, their protection money. What are they? The syndicate, the Pike Syndicate. The Fish Syndicate. The Pike Place Syndicate.
Because Mackerel Syndicate didn't sound sexy, so they chose the Pike Fish.
Their theme song when they roll out is that Fish Head song. Do you remember that from like the 80s? Like, there was this horrible kid song about fish. Like, and I hear it when I see them now. I'm like, fish heads, fish heads. I'm like, oh my god.
No, I've never heard of that.
And you were worried about me on this episode?
My camera keeps cutting out. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Okay. Then, so we find out that the biker gang basically is also charging protection money.
Yeah.
So Pike Syndicate's like, no, y'all got to work that out. We're only going to pay one. So, and Boba's like, fine, we'll take care of them. And then he goes back and all the sand people are murdered. I think. Look, I don't want to sound racist, but all the sand people look alike to me, so I can't tell.
Well, okay. The only
if they were all dead.
Yeah, the only character that I saw that they didn't focus on, or I saw that we didn't see, was the kid. So I'm curious if the kid ends up finding Boba in maybe a future episode.
Or is that just Disney saying we can't kill kids?
No, Disney loves to slaughter kids.
Disney does love a good kid slaughter. So that might have happened, but that's interesting. Because,
like, no. We only let Dark Jedi murder mass children.
I was more worried.
Well, they don't show it though, so it's like
it has to be a school shooting.
Yeah. I was more worried about the 20-minute Bantha ride. I mean, this guy
that was a long. I think by the you got the sense of how big the desert is.
Exactly. Yeah, because going from speeder bike to Bantha has to just be effing painful if you think about it. There's no wind blowing in your hair.
I did kind of wonder why he didn't take a bike instead of a no. Let me take the Bantha. I don't want to get there fast.
He likes because I think he likes having the higher ground mentality, which of course is a thing. So I think he likes looking down at the little Jawas, even though they're tiny anyway. Mm-hmm. And coming in on the big Bantha is a show, almost like having the litter carrying around the.
It's a statement of like, I'm with them.
Yeah.
Okay, so then he sees the biker gang logo. Do we believe that at all?
Yes.
Do you think it was the biker gang?
I think the Pike Syndicate sold out their location as to where they were attacking the train, and that's how the.
Okay, you think it's legit? Agreed. I was wondering if it was a setup. I was wondering if they were setting up Boba.
I mean, talking about like a gangster film, you've got to have crosses and double crosses on top of double crosses.
Okay.
I do think that Boba's going to lose his shit in one of the upcoming episodes, and enough of the gang will be wiped out, or he'll turn on the Pikes, because now his essentially, the tribe that adopted him and slowly got him back into some level of health prior to the Bacta tanks. I mean, he was actually teary-eyed when he was sitting there watching the corpse burn. So, I mean, that was crazy. This is something where it's showing him as kind of a broken man, right? So now he's going to go out.
Well, it's a setup for vengeance.
And lay some love. Yeah, absolutely.
One thing I forgot to mention on here, like when he went back to the town to talk to the syndicate, how they had the heads of stormtrooper.
Which you see in The Mandalorian.
Yep.
Early on, is that early on?
Yeah, and the Mandalorian, he comes into town and all the heads are on Pike. So
I was wondering
see
if he
who
was
put
going to
'em there.
mention anything about it, because I wondered if that was the first, because it kind of sets up, helps establish where we are.
Yeah.
Even though we kind of knew, like, oh, so this Empire is fallen now. We now know the Empire has fallen. I wasn't sure when.
Well, the thing is, I don't think Boba Fett cares because he was always neutral. You had the dark side and the Force, and then he was just this chaotic neutral. Like, you know, he didn't care. He was just getting paid.
Right.
Was anyone curious? Like, I'm curious if either of you two were curious how those huge scratch marks, like the 3-pronged scratch marks, were across like almost half of those trooper helmets. Like, what the hell delivered those blows?
What killed him?
Oh,
you know what I mean? So I'm always looking, trying to be dorky, eagle eye, and see if that's like a Trandoshan, 3-pronged attack, or if that's a Wookiee thing. Just whatever. I thought that was interesting because it shows that it's not just troopers getting blasted. It's like kind of brutal hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
And who else perished, right? How many gave their lives to rid that area of yet one more little trooper infestation?
Yeah. Speaking of Wookiee attack.
Yeah.
Then, so after the burning of the Sand People's clothing, it cuts into him at the back to tank, and I think we talked about this in the last episode. I think I was saying, man, is he gonna get like? Good thing people aren't attacking while he's in the back to tank.
Yeah, his super safe.
Our assassin Wookiee shows up and rips him right out of there. His guards suck.
Yeah.
How do you miss a Wookiee, like a 10-foot Wookiee walking past you?
Yeah.
It's an assassin. He's an assassin Wookiee.
It's very, very questionable. I will just say that I did love that fight scene, or I should say most of it. We did not get to see Wookiees really kick butt in, was it episode 2? I'm now blanking. Episode 2 or 3, when the Wookiees were kicked. I guess it was Clone Wars.
Yeah.
So episode 2.
This even the animated.
Well, yeah, in the animated also, but to have a big guy in a big suit with obviously lifts on his big Wookiee feet and all that.
Yeah.
Well, that guy's just huge.
The motion capture they have, however much of it's animatronics and whatnot, was fantastic. And to see him grabbing people, biting them, also
I love
clotheslining those 2 Gamorrean guards and then throwing him and their bodies down the stairs. That was a really fun episode. Plus, we talked about this last episode, Boba, especially out of his outfit, he sucks as a fighter. I mean, he just got thrown around like
he looked like a 65-year-old man.
Yeah, he really, really did. And I love what they're doing with his character.
Why he's in a Bacta tank. That's why he's in the Bacta tank.
That's why he only looks like a 65-year-old man after everything he's been through.
He pops out in his underoos and he just gets his butt whooped.
Covered in KY.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. He's a little slippery, but it
was which is why he has to be a crime boss, I think. It's like we talked about before.
He's got to settle down.
Jabba couldn't fight anybody, right? He got murdered by someone in a bikini.
I was a little confused when the little cyborgs showed up and they kind of were doing their like May Day dance around him, and it was. Again, that fell into a way too staged of a fight scene, but I liked how well they did it.
I loved it. I loved them, like getting them by. You have to dance around in a. Do you not watch Cobra Kai?
How many? No, I will not watch that.
Because that's like what they talk about in there, like the Miyagi-Do. You dance around your opponent. You dance around them. And that's what they did, and then they got him, and I thought they were going to do a scene in Flashdance. I thought the BK was going to look up and water was going to splash all over the big Wookiee, and then they were going to have like flashlights.
Well, and you have Jennifer Beals in there, so
I know that's what.
Right.
This is why I like Derrick. He catches those subtle things. Yeah, we didn't get to see Madam Flip this episode. I'm actually bummed. She needs to be in every episode.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying.
I thought it was cool watching him use the gaffy stick though against him. I like some of the things that they've done with that.
It's actually a nasty weapon. I mean,
it's a Fijian weapon.
Yep.
Like it's called a Totokia, I think.
Oh, is that where the inspiration for it is?
And just like that dance they did around the fire was kind of inspired by the haka, the Maori haka.
I could tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's pulling a lot of his inspirations is like in as an indigenous person.
If you go back to that scene and listen quietly, you can hear the Moana soundtrack playing. It's really fantastic.
They're calling the ocean back. They're like, "Come on, where'd you go?"
What can I say except you're welcome? You know.
And so then they can't, and they actually can't even beat him. All they can do is trap him.
Oh
So
yeah.
They trap the Wookiee downstairs in the former Rancor pit, and then they're like, okay, let's go eat. Oh, I did like that they sent out, okay, Piggy, let's send the little Piggy to the market. No, to the
back to tank.
Yeah,
fix him up.
And it shows he cares about his people. I mean, Jabba would have been like, throw him in there with him.
And
he's worthless now.
And that the back to tank is self-cleaning, because I would not want to follow up in that tank after a Gamorrean.
Right.
So it's obviously got some little scrubbers going on or something, or those little droids actually have scrubbing functions. Because
do you think Bacta tanks are really like high end in this world? Like expensive?
Given the condition of this one, I would say no.
I think it's like a float tank that you can go to here.
I think it's
not everybody seems to have one.
Joe Rogan does.
Like the rich rebellion. They had a Bacta tank.
Joe's going to show up now in an episode. Damn it, Derek. Oh,
he's gonna be the Bacta tank salesman. He's like,
no, I was going to
endorse this.
He's going to be the horse serum salesperson. You know? No, but anyway, Bacta tanks, definitely a higher echelon, financial class system thing. It's not everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like how a lot of elite athletes use like hyperbaric chambers to recover. Yeah. LeBron James has one. So
or cocaine. But anyway, yeah.
And then they go to a buffet, which I did
Looks really good.
It's definitely showing some excess, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't need that much. So in the buffet, there's I
just thought it was a really bad cook.
There's these frog legs.
They had what looked like a womp rat in there, all filleted up, and they had some kind of a frog leg.
Yeah.
Something with shells, kind of an escargot nod.
Like if you brought that food out to me, I'd probably be like, let's try something else. Like keep going. We're not quite there.
I don't see why Fennec just didn't ask for like a Subway sandwich equivalent. And, Boba could have had some boba tea and just, like where do these big buffets come from? What droid in that facility said, I'm going to make him happy and make him like 20 feet worth of food, right? That
hopefully
I think
after he eats, the droids will come, or the droid people.
No, they send out the Gamorreans.
Come later to eat.
That's true. Because
they need to eat.
It had been like a trough for the Gamorrean. That would have been
awesome. Good today, guys.
I know, we're getting seconds.
I love Ming-Na Wen as Fennec. Yeah. I really do. She's been my favorite part, I think. Just her dry delivery
but just that look she gives.
Yeah. She scares me.
Character. She's terrifying. And she's also like 112 in real life. And once again, has been in every single movie since the beginning of time. And looks amazing. And I really want to see more of her character, though. Like what she did. Like, let's give her a flashback episode and then put her on a bantha for a 20-minute walk. I need to know how. I'm curious to see how Boba fixed her up. Like which droid gang did he give her to?
Right.
To fix her stomach and bring her back from the dead, because she was dead when he found her, apparently. Yeah. So
now let me ask you something. I text Silas this, but it kind of bugs me a little bit how much Boba removes his mask. Like all the time, he's like, "I'm here, like in public, and you all want to kill me. Let me take off my mask so you can get an easy headshot." No,
he doesn't.
He does. He walks everywhere he goes. He like pops off his mask. He's like, "I'm here." He got in a street fight with assassins, not wearing his mask because it was filled with money.
Yeah, I think that was sort of an exception. Every time it seems like he's walking with Fennec and the two fatty guards, the pear-shaped Gamorreans, he seems to always be masked up then. But yes, he does take it off because, again, he's trying to lead with honor and respect. And with that, since he doesn't follow the Mandalorian code because he's not an actual Mandalorian, eye contact for him is everything.
Well, I get that, but as we knew Boba Fett before this,
the 5 minutes we knew him.
Yeah, well, it was a little more than that because you had like the Christmas special and stuff. Which
oh God, okay.
But like,
pick him off the show. He just mentioned the Christmas episode. That's it. Done.
Well, and they refer to that. We'll talk about that later. They do make a reference to the Christmas episode. But like, to me, that was the appeal of Boba Fett, was because he always had his mask on and he had this mystery. You couldn't see his face. You couldn't see what he was thinking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like just this max intimidation, just for the same reason you were afraid of Vader. Because you couldn't see.
Wait till I tell you about these 3 movies.
It stripped out the humanity of him.
You didn't get to see his face. You saw his face.
And I think if you're trying to intimidate as a crime boss, you want that poker player mask, you know?
Yeah. I don't think he's trying to intimidate with ruthlessness and intimidation. He
says that. He says he's trying to lead with respect.
And yeah, he's totally open to a headshot the majority of the time that he's there.
And I think from a practical point of view, so many people are complaining about Mandalorian wearing his helmet all the time, so they can't understand his acting and what he's doing. So they're like, well,
I love the fact that we can't see Mando's face 90% of the time.
Yeah, no, I think it is.
Yeah.
Okay,
it keeps that suspense, that mystery going of like, what's going on?
Yeah.
The frog-like creature that was in the buffet first appeared in the Phantom Menace. It's become their version of chicken, and it's like they try to put it in every time there's a meal somewhere. They try to show these same frog legs.
Now, I wonder if that was the same frog in that cut scene when it shows Jabba's house in the back. You see the thing fly by, and then the frog eats him. I wonder if it was that same frog.
It was the same frog,
right?
Getting fattened up.
That's awesome.
Okay, and then we move to the Hutts show up. The twin Hutts.
Yeah.
Apologize.
A little too soon.
That's a weird scene.
It was a little too exposition-y. I like Boba said, I didn't trust them either necessarily, that they're being honest. Like the Hutts like, oh, we don't want to get in a war, but we're gonna smooth things over.
Okay. You know.
So I don't entirely trust. So they bring a Rancor as a gift to him. I don't entirely trust. I'm like, is this Rancor or is the trainer up to no good? Are they working for
I didn't
Jabba?
trust Danny Trejo either.
Because you can't, based off of all his movies.
I was like, he'll be back.
His trainer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he'll definitely be back. What's his name? Danny
Trejo?
Danny Trejo
is the brother of the director for the episode.
Robert Rodriguez. Yep.
Yeah.
So it's interesting about that because I don't always like seeing really familiar faces come into this universe. But Danny, I love him and everything that he's done. He's just a crazy man. I love him in this role because I think he strikes me as someone who's going to bring knowledge and experience into Jabba's palace. Yeah. And I didn't realize that the cutest little baby Rancor who can still rip you from head to tail hasn't been imprinted yet. Like I didn't pick up on that until he was like, that's why the things are on. But yeah, Derrick, exactly. Has he been imprinted? Exactly. Is it a trick?
It's a gift from the Hutts.
It's a gift from the Hutts. So there's going to be a twist there. But I think he did imprint. And that's why he said, will he be back? Because the Rancor kind of went, like, where's my new daddy going?
But the delivery of that was like, don't worry, like, he'll be back. You'll get your chance.
But that's the only tonal range that Danny had. Right?
That's true. That's true. Like honestly, when they first caught Black
BK.
Yeah. Whatever.
Black
Chrysanthemum. My first thought was, well, they've replaced the Rancor, like leave him down there. And that's like a perfect penalty for that guy since he was a gladiator. He was in the pits.
Yeah. And that'd be like almost a Solo nod because when Han Solo got dumped in, it was Chewbacca who was down there tearing people up.
Yeah. So that was my thought when I saw that.
That's a good observation.
But instead, Jabba or Boba offers the Hutts, hey, have your assassin back.
Which was kind of the ultimate FU, like, haha, you couldn't send a 10, but we're gonna kill me.
Yeah.
And they're like, we don't want him. He failed. And then, but I felt like, and I call it the labyrinth moment. Do you remember the movie The Labyrinth?
Yes.
When she meets Bluto. And he's like, Bluto, friend. Because all of a sudden he's like,
Bluto, man. Bluto's one of my favorite characters.
But every time I see somebody like friend their enemy monster like that, I'm like, there's that Bluto moment. You know, like I think Aliens versus Predator, when the Predator like carves out the skull shield for her, I'm like, it's a Bluto friend. You know, because now you know, like Black Chrysanthemum, he's gonna be back later. He's gonna help Boba out somewhere down the line.
I now have this image in my mind of the Predator looking at the character going, Ludo, make mask for you out of shell. So now you've damaged the whole Predator series.
And I bring that up because actually the guy who played Black Chrysanthemum was the Predator in the Predator movie, the most recent one.
Yeah, so that guy's only like so many 10 feet tall people. Yeah. So the guy's huge.
I think he's gonna show up. It doesn't even have to be this season. But probably this season, I think he's going to join Boba as part of the ranks. But what I do like is it at least sets this character up for this universe that could show up in any of the shows, right?
And he's going to be in Obi-Wan too. I mean, according to the canon, right? Like,
Obi has a huge history of fighting them. And as a matter of fact, Obi-Wan's the one that gave him the big scar across his face.
In what timeline?
In the non-canonized
Legends
comic books,
the slowly being canonized.
Can anyone
recanonization?
say the Witches of Dathomir?
Yeah, right? Which are apparently in the Clone Wars as well.
Yeah, true. So they're already canonized.
But that's one of those things that they took from a legend story, and we're like, "Oh, that's cool. Let's put it in this." And since they're allowing it, the Witches. I mentioned that. I had a note on that. That was exciting.
And that's where that reference to the Christmas episode came in. Is when he's like, I've written things 10 times bigger than this. Because that's what he wrote in the Christmas episode, was that big old beast.
Big stupid looking brontosaurus thing, whatever that thing was. It was like yellow.
Since that's not canon.
Oh, it's become canon. I mean, it's getting there. You have the tuning fork rifle in the Mandalorian from the Christmas episode.
They can bring those things in, but it could have just been Boba just saying, "Oh, no, 10 things bigger."
Derek and I outvoted you here. It's now a 2-1 thing. Plus,
Definitely
we all know Texan democracy is different than the Pacific Northwest.
It's whose gun is bigger.
Yeah.
And then, and then we head back to the mayor.
Back to the mayor.
Oh, I hate that toilet.
I cannot stand that Twi'lek.
I thought you said toilet. I was like, what?
Well, he doesn't like toilets.
Well, you don't like him, but I like him because I don't like him.
He's such a bad actor. Like,
I think his name is David Pasquale.
But he's a bad actor.
Oh, his lines are so bad. It's like his lines were written with crayon by.
No, I think he's actually a good actor playing somebody to be a bad actor. Going, oh well, I don't know. Let me check.
Now we outvote you again. He's not a great actor, and his character is hateful and very, very deceitful and decisive with his answers. But to play a major domo that's just basically like a spineless turd is so annoying.
Is he a major domo? And then we don't know who he is.
Let's just get to the chase scene, dude. Come on.
Oh God, I don't even want to talk about the chase scene.
Horrible chase scene I have ever seen, and I have seen my share of sci-fi B or C class rated crappy science fiction films. This was so bad, being chased by Disney Park reject bikes.
I shot a chase scene in high school that was like more action packed than this.
Oh my God, it was so bad.
You know he went in a circle. Like, I actually went back. I'm like, he just made a lot of right hand turn or left hand turns. And so I watched every turn left, and then he makes a right and a left. So he's going straight again. And then it's a left and left. So all Boba did was like shot up in the air to see where he's at. And he's like, oh, he's coming right back here. Whoop.
Yeah, he could have ended it. Now, the only saving grace, and Silas is just waiting to nail me on this, the horrible, shiny, fresh out of a Dick Tracy movie speeder bikes that
it wasn't speeders. I felt like that was like a tribute to the Golden Girls if they were in a chase scene.
They were like granny
walkers.
So slow. But the only thing I liked about it is that, and this goes weird for a minute. All of these little kids are like street urchins, okay? They're disposable. It's like watching a Charles Dickinson Christmas special, okay? They're all just like, nobodies until they get the hard knock life opportunity to go work with their Cockney accents with Boba Fett. The interesting thing is they actually paint those with lost limbs, limb loss people, amputees, whatever you're supposed to say nowadays, not offend anybody. They show them as being very capable. I like the fact that the one kid had like the foot that was basically on like a hydraulic
with the
press
spike on it and
banging stuff out. And the main girl, Sophia Thatcher, who's part of the Yellow Jacket TV show, her character's name is Drash, which for some reason I now want her as an action figure because the name Drash is super cool. I think she's going to develop into something really outstanding. And her arm, the way they animate the arm is really cool because it's just wrapped in green right now. So I like what they're doing, but it was just Silas. It was a horrible Alita Battle Angel, Robert Rodriguez filmed scene that was so staged, so bad. And the dragon fruit at the end, just of course, piling into the speeder.
Back to the Future.
Oh God.
I felt like that was just Biff running into the manure truck at the end.
It was actually also a callback to Rebels. Those fruit are from Rebels. Star Trek.
Yeah, but I think Biff is Major Domo's new name because his character actually isn't named yet. He's just the Major Domo for the mayor. So we're officially calling him Biff.
Biff, all right.
Because Derrick just nailed it. So why do you think we're wrong, Silas? Please tell me why I'm wrong at least. Derrick's never wrong.
Because I had fun watching it.
Oh, God.
It hurt me to watch it.
And I mean, the scene was really about showing how the droid teens work together about what they can do. And I don't know what you're looking for.
So conceptually, you liked it. You liked the idea of it. But it was shot horribly. Like, you can't deny that was shot horribly.
Until you said it was shot horribly, I didn't really think it was shot horribly.
It hurt me to look at it.
I watch it, and I don't know what you're expecting, I guess.
So
I've gone back. I've been watching a lot of Star Wars because of my daughter. And I'm telling you, you look back and watch the speeder bikes through the Endor forest are not actually as good as I remember them.
But they're better than that scene that we just watched. Now, Silas, I'll give you credit. You're watching these with your kids. You're watching it through rose-colored glasses. You're also like 12.
I don't watch these with my kids. No.
So you don't have standards, right? I was 7 years old when the first one came out, and I've been watching them all ever since. Now, Rogue Squadron changed my Rogue One, changed my freaking world and view how films of Star Wars could be done, right?
Oh, you mean film? A film?
I understand.
Chase was better than a TV show.
But Mandalorian is gritty, and yet it's funny, and it's shot well, and not like stop-go fast action based. Boba Fett has been on right now. It's been on a journey of good to outstanding to what the hell just happened. And all I'm saying is their choice of director this time, I think, influenced that scene in particular too much. And it was just subpar compared to all the grittiness that we've seen around it, if that makes sense.
You complained about Mandalorian too.
I had issues with, I absolutely had issues with that. Yes, there were a couple episodes that I wanted to just put my head through a wall. I totally get, and I acknowledge that.
You did not like it was also Act 2. You did not like the chase through the frozen planet between
was
the Mandalorian
and the X-Wings.
Yeah, you didn't like that.
I wasn't on your show for that.
I listened. You did an episode about that on your podcast.
Shut Up and Laugh. Okay, I don't even remember that.
You sat down with Manny and did a whole episode on it because you were so angry.
No. I remember doing the show with Manny, just not my angst about that particular scene. But okay,
the whole episode.
No, again,
but
there's some good and bad. This is the bad.
Yeah. It's I think I go into realistic expectations on what a television show can do.
Yeah,
watching it, and I'm expecting a television show level chase.
I get that.
Don't have a big set.
I get that, and I respect that, but so far the 2 chase scenes in the Boba Fett series have been like that
What's the other
parkour
one?
in episode 1
Huh?
was horrible.
Yes.
That was
so
like
parkour. So
yeah,
bad.
it was like a bunch of amateurs trying to do parkour,
So
right?
bad.
And then this chase scene, like it was a slow paced chase scene. There was nothing like, oh, and the hokiness of it, like
Yeah.
with the droid come out and he's like, I could go back, but I'm gonna spin out and try to make it across the street.
Yeah, they actually road runnered the freaking tires and things like that.
It was so bad.
Actually, there was the way they had them hover above onto the side of buildings.
Back to the Future too.
Okay, but we're not in but we're not in Back to the Future. But it was showing me for the first time how these things can actually work and what you can
Silas,
do with
we're
them.
not arguing we're not arguing the dynamics of how these hover old people bikes.
Oh no! So I'm saying is what I liked about it was them showing me how these things.
No, nobody wants to see a rascal race.
When I was watching it, I was like, "Oh, so that's how they can work. Oh, so they can it works on the side too." I thought it was interesting that they worked on the side of the buildings too. So I was actually.
I thought it was interesting that there was a random staircase with exactly 2-inch steps where only little tiny womp rats used to get up to their nest at night. But thankfully, Drash, coolest name ever for a girl with one arm and being cool chick power, was riding up that in her cute little rascal speeder bike. And able to do a Alita Battle Angel exact move, Jane off at the end. So
I also liked Alita's Battle Angel. So
I actually like that movie too.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I don't know. I hate how clean everything is too.
What?
Can I just say that? Like, so Mos Espa bikes. It's supposed to
use their water for.
It's supposed to be like a ghetto place. Yeah, they're like everything's clean. Like, it just
supposed to be.
No, like everything in it, you wouldn't think everything would be so clean.
Yeah.
And that's the problem I had with especially the prequels was like everything was shiny and new because like we don't know how to put dirt on our graphics when we make them.
I disagree with that part only because in the prequel, the Emperor and the Imperials weren't a thing. They weren't destroying everything. They weren't causing huge issues with trade and crime and everything else. So I thought that everything was supposed to be shiny because think of it like the golden age, right? It was the golden age until everything went to crap. And that's why fair. Then when A New Hope shows up and then Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, that's after that X amount of years where it's been the Emperor was destroying everything, laying everything to waste, who hadn't converted over to the Imperial way, right?
That's fair.
To me, that makes sense.
But again, a sand planet and everything is like super shiny. Like,
well, it has 3 suns.
I get that, but it also has sandstorms. It's going to just tear that chrome finish off.
Sand cleans it. Like sand blasting is what you do to clean.
Well, again, in all fairness, the only issues with the sand planet in the prequels is because those were all ships coming from Queen Amidala's planet, so they were already shiny and
gorgeous. Not a dust planet.
Tatooine was always like kind of gritty looking, I feel like this like Mos Espa is like the Singapore of Tatooine.
Well, maybe it is.
It's just super clean, but to have them be like, the streets have gone bad, and
that's why the water broker has to charge so much. Everyone's
cleaning their stuff.
Power washer.
I think he's the crook in this scenario.
I was hoping he was going to get into like explaining how it used to be a water planet.
That's so.
I was like, I want to hear that story. I want to know.
I think they're going to go deep on that
because that's the second time they've mentioned it.
Yeah.
Now, I think the Pike Syndicate thinks that they own the place.
I think they're trying to find the water.
We have water. This used to be a water planet. This is ours.
Like
we're gonna take it back, and we're gonna turn it into a water planet again. You sons of bitches.
I really think it's interesting though, like seeing. Sorry.
Silas.
I think it's cool to see though, like kind of that comparison of like Camino and then Tatooine, like because he was born in a water and it was like very turbulent, and then reborn basically in the sands of Tatooine. Like
I love seeing the nod to the young Boba Fett in the window reflection. I think putting Carrie Fisher's DH face there was a perfect idea. I thought they did that really, really well too, because they showed that transition, like you said, grew up on a water planet. Now he's got sand in places he can't even reach, but he seems to be pretty much okay with it because the back to talent or tank takes everything off. So
now I have a question. What was Jango Fett's ship name? Since they've renamed Boba Fett's ship is just
Boba Fett's ship. They have not renamed it.
Yeah,
The only
it's just called
renaming
Boba's
has
ship
been the
right now.
packaging, so that when people search for it, nobody knows his name. So they just basically an SEO choice, so people can say, "I want Boba's ship." Like, oh, here's Boba's ship. Because otherwise
I was
it says
thinking about
Slave
that,
One,
watching Jango fly off. I'm like, because it's become really taboo to call it Slave One. So I was curious, like, did they have they completely renamed it? Because
no, they didn't rename it. They just
made
it marketing. It's still called Slave One. You still get to have your slave, Derrick. Okay.
I don't.
Don't worry.
Silas will edit out the word slave from this prior to posting.
We'll just change it to Boba.
So, he's just gonna. So I'm just gonna say slave, and
so the ship. Okay, this episode ends after the speederback chase. It goes to we find out the syndicate is coming back. A bunch of them showing up. Fun fact: those galactic cruise liners that they got on look to be the same ones that are going to be that you can take a hotel cruise ship on in Disney World coming 2022.
$2,000 a night.
Thank you. I did see the shape of that freighter, and I looked at the pricing structure once on Disney's site, and I was like, oh, F this, that's stupid. But I think you're right. I think they're bringing in that class of shuttle into this series to bring that correlative aspect. But
I've been told by somebody that they actually think the Disney Galactic, what do they call it? At the Disneyland park.
Yes.
Galactic.
Galaxy's
what do they call
Edge.
It? Galaxy's Edge.
Galaxy's Edge, yes.
Galaxy's Edge is probably going to drive a lot more of what we see in the shows. That it's all going to start there and then come to the shows.
Okay, so more importantly, why do you think, or do you think the Pikes were showing up on that cruise line carrier to look slightly less threatening than having one of their big galactic Cadillac cruisers?
I think it was an advertisement for the new ride.
Okay, I think that's so.
I think that's completely why they showed up. I think it's a version of it's a luxury cruiser that they just hop on. It's like taking first class instead of.
Are they
it's like a private jet?
Yeah, exactly.
Huh? Did what?
Are they any less threatening? I don't know. I mean,
that's kind of my point. You've got like 20 of them coming off of a ship, all looking like little weird fish in face capsules.
Right.
Lobsters don't show up in they show up in limos. They're not showing up in their armored vehicles, right?
I mean, I don't know. They look like they're just, I don't know. I don't think they look threatening, but they look like they're there for business. Now, I wonder if we're going to get more on the Canton Riders or whatever they are, the Nikto Striders, because they have, I don't know what their name is. They have two different names, but if they're gonna get more into that, where did the Pike sell out the Tuscans, and so Boba's gonna go after he's gonna go after them because the Pikes basically set it up, and I wonder if the same thing's happening with the Hutts being like, we're getting out of here. Because they want Boba and the Pikes now to fight it out, and they're just going to come clean up at the end.
Yeah, because they're convinced at this point that Boba will go after the bike syndicate, the bike riders
in the past.
Well, in the past, but plus, that's true. We really haven't seen who they are yet.
So did the Pikes double cross him?
Yeah,
and then are the Hutts doing the same thing by being like, we're just going to back out because we know you're going to fight with the Pikes and we want this territory. So as soon as you guys fight it out, we'll just come clean up.
I think they're getting their piece no matter what. I think they're probably in bed with both sides, Pikes. And they're just going to hedge their bets. Plus, again, Crimson, was it not Crimson Tide? The Crimson guys that Darth Maul is now running. I think they're going to bring
Crimson
him
Guard?
in.
Yeah, that's actually what I was gonna ask was
I think that's who's doing everything. I think that is who the Hutts are afraid of.
because they allude to that.
They could give a crap about the Pikes. The Pikes are a bunch of freaking fish. They have to show up in tiny little
Yeah.
Cadillac cruisers versus their own big
Right.
ships. I think the Crimsons are behind everything. I think we're going to see Maul, and I think that's going to get ugly because that's going to then tie into Obi-Wan series.
Right. And I watched the trailer for Obi-Wan, and you see like Darth Maul in the background.
Yeah.
Like in one of it's a really quick scene, and you see Darth Maul like in the dark behind him.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Solo, they allude to the Pike is working for Darth Maul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So once I saw the Pikes, I was like, oh, what's that mean? Oh, wait. And then I wonder if they're going to bring what's his name, Ray Park, the same guy to play Darth Maul, or is
Ray
he too
Parker
old now?
Jr.?
Yeah.
They can't use anyone else. They used him for the Solo movie.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, he said something on social media, and they tried to pull a Gina on him and kick him out.
She's back too, though. I heard.
Well,
they're bringing her back anyway.
I hope they both come back because I think that's fair. So, oh hey, Silas is here. Silas, what do you think?
I think in the next episode, or either next one or the one after that, they will have Boba will go track down that gang. I think he's gonna like kill a bunch. I think that is where we're gonna set him up as him deciding he should bring order to this territory.
So
Mos
is
Espa.
Boba gonna do the killing? Because he's already expressed regret about hitting that one guy with the little missile launcher because he didn't want to kill. He didn't. Yeah. So
did he say he was sad
is he
about
going to do it, or is Fennec going to do it? Is Fennec going to do the killing?
I think Boba will do some.
Okay, because he obviously clocked that dude in the head.
But that might also be what Cattle gets him to go. I shouldn't kill anymore. Like the opposite of Anakin, right? Anakin killed a bunch of sand people and said, and he can go, you know what? That was a bad idea. I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I should rule. Maybe I should do things proper. He's like, nah, I'm going to go kill kids now.
I'm tired of killing younglings. Yeah, they're easier to catch.
I think Boba's going to have like this. You think he's going to attack these guys, kill some, and be like, I should rule by respect only. Something.
Or maybe he'll be forced to kill X amount of times.
Yeah.
Or he'll just come in riding the freaking Rancor. And the Rancor will just 3 fingers shred the crap out of everybody.
I think it's hard. The hard spot with the series is they don't want to make Disney is not going to make him a hero if he's killing people.
Right.
A bunch.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Less than self-defense, right?
I think they're going to Rurouni Kenshin in.
A what?
Did you ever see like Rurouni Kenshin, Samurai X?
Oh, I thought you sneezed.
It's
Yeah.
Like that's his whole thing. Is like he's like, I won't kill, and there's times where he basically has to, but he still just gets right there and is able to knock him out. You know.
Yeah.
I think they'll do. He kills a lot though.
Yeah.
Gets himself in a lot of situations where he has to kill, but he doesn't want to, right?
Yeah. It's like, I don't take pleasure in this. I kind of do.
Yeah.
You know, like
you could have stopped with just one throat punch, but now her. So
almost expecting to see like a Conan poster in like his back to chamber room, you know, like.
Yeah, they can't have only in Revenge or to save his life. He can have the occasional thing, but I just think they're not. They can't have the hero be this murderer. It's already a weird relationship they have with Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Where he's so sought after. So people are so excited about Darth Vader, but he's a bad guy. He's murdered people. He's not the hero, people.
No.
But people love him.
But he's the victim because his suit constantly keeps him in pain, which is why the Emperor was able to maintain such a grasp on him.
Oh, was that?
He taught him just enough to be able to be above the pain threshold. But dude was just being racked every minute of every day when he was in that outfit. Because everything he had wrong with him could have been cured by technology.
Or a back to chamber.
Which he could have worn in
just grown his legs back, right?
With the back in the early episodes, I really felt like Boba Fett just looked like he looked just like Vader when they take the helmet off of him.
Oh yeah.
You know, that kind of rice paper look to him.
Yep.
You know, like crispy instead of soggy, because like Vader was soggy.
Well, he did spend a lot of time in a Sarlacc,
Yeah.
B out in the Tuscan sun, you know, so he had some missions to contend with.
He was so white when he came out too. Like that was the other thing that I was like, you spend that much time in the sun, you're gonna be sunburned. You're not gonna be like Seattle white.
Yeah,
Sorry, Brian.
He was definitely sloughing off a little bit. Wait,
Yeah.
ooh, he just commented on my pastiness. It's the lighting. Look, oh look.
Yeah, now
I almost thought I got away with that.
Now I'm Texan cream.
Now he's pink.
Everybody. That's funny. Shut up, Derek.
Okay.
No.
So,
Oh my gosh.
I mean, so that's the episode. Well, we finished it. It very short, very short.
I thought it was great. It was one of my favorite episodes so far.
Yeah, I can't
Brian,
believe I felt bad for watching it twice. I'll be honest. Like,
okay, after we talked about it, you don't like it a little better than you did before?
No, I'm gonna go back because I'm a Star Wars fan. I don't know if you know that, and like watch.
Can't tell by listening to you.
Yeah, Mandalorian 1 and 2, because I mean it's a great series, minus 1 or 2 scenes with the apex predator eating all the lizard's eggs. This
see,
one,
I like that though.
like I will not watch this particular episode again unless I'm with my kids and being forced to.
Yeah.
Because I can get through the parkour thing, because I can take shots every time, like one of my kids says parkour during that scene. But this particular episode, no. I can't watch again without being really disillusioned.
Yeah.
I feel bad for you.
I want to say though, to the Grogu thing, I actually like that he's the apex predator because it makes Yoda that much more terrifying. You know, like because forever Yoda was just this cute little green dude, a magical green dude that could whoop some butt, and now you see what they're like. I'll eat a whole species. I don't care.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, and I don't disagree with you, but I was just thrown by how really kind of underhanded and vicious he was. You know, like snuggle up and everyone's sleeping and start snacking.
Well, he's a kid.
I'm just imagining. Well, yeah, of course.
My kid's like that. Like,
just imagine his planet. Just imagine his planet.
You know how many species Derek's kid is eating? Like
that I fed to her. You know.
I'm just imagining if they ever show us Grogu / Yoda / whatever their unnamed species are, if they ever show the planet, they all do not move slowly, because we've seen what happens when Yoda has caffeine. He goes freaking nuclear. Yeah. He's just, 800 years old or whatever, which is why he was so slow. Yeah. I mean, apparently they don't have glucosamine on that planet because brother's joints are stiff, right? They have to be literally like the predator species of their planet. I think they could have a really fun episode where they just go.
So they're like the humans of their planet. Is that what you're saying? I mean,
yeah, that's actually a good point.
I grew up thinking meat was a compound word for me and eat.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Oh my gosh. But no, really great episode. Kudos to Robert Rodriguez.
Okay. Well, you got me. I like it. I like
so rating scale 1 to 10. Where do you fall, Silas?
Like a 7 on this.
That low?
Yeah.
You've been like Mary Poppins this whole freaking interview. And you give it a 7, Mr. Disney?
I don't think 7 is that.
I think we convinced him to take it down.
Out of 10 points?
Oh wait, I forgot. He's a film critic now, Derek.
Right.
He has
out of 10 points?
He's got that clout.
All right.
7 is still better than
7 is C.
Huh?
Maybe a C+. Well,
what do you give what's a 2?
That's what I was gonna give it.
I was gonna say that's the episode we just watched.
Yeah, well, that's a 2.
Points. If he's giving it a 2, a 7's a pretty high score.
Okay, so Derek, you were gonna give it a 2?
I give it yeah.
Okay.
I felt the acting was bad in it. That chase scene was just unforgivable.
Yeah. So I'll go a little higher. I was gonna go 4 because I love BK. I hope we don't lose him as a pissed off Wookiee bounty hunter. I love Tamira as Boba Fett no matter what. And Ming-Na as Fennec. I'll take her every single day because she's awesome. But I can't get beyond the stapler scene, like pay him off with the stapler. They missed a couple of big opportunities.
Yeah, that would have improved it. That would have.
Yeah, anytime Stephen Root can reflect back on his Office Space days would have been a win. And
in fact, we should write the HBO right now that the fault of Succession right now is that they are not making a bunch of Office Space references.
I think they should, and again, the chase scene was the worst I've seen in Star Wars history, and I can't forgive them for that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I cannot forgive you.
I can't.
It was so bad.
It damaged me on a level I didn't think was possible.
And like I said, I felt a little insulted because I was excited that they were going to use like Black Kirsten as
Kirsten. Kirsten Dunst stars as
what I was saying.
the 10-foot Wookiee.
Right? She looks the part now. I don't know if you saw that.
He has the teeth, snaggletooth.
What is that show? Something, the dog. Beware the Dog. It's a Netflix cowboy movie with Doctor Strange.
Power of the Dog.
Yeah, Power of the Dog. Yeah, she's pretty haggard in that. I gotta say, she's not aged well, but neither have I. So I can't really talk too much trash.
I think she has. I think that's called good makeup and
it's called makeup.
Cinematography.
That's true.
It's all right.
Like
such a
and
bad
good
movie.
acting, really good acting. It's like isn't like in her first Academy. It's like her first Golden Globe nomination.
Did that get nominated?
Power of the Dog?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It won Best Picture.
It won.
I don't watch those. They're like, yeah, look, we're already famous. Let's give ourselves pats on the back. Like I don't care about those.
But there's movies nominated that like people are not famous from.
Those, yeah, and those
like
are usually
Coda,
worse too.
Coda got.
Coda did well, right?
Coda's that's actually winning a Lindy from me this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my favorite film of the year.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, because it didn't have famous people, so you don't watch it.
Probably.
Yeah.
You know about Power of the Dog. Know about Power of the Dog.
Because I love westerns. And that's
I think he called it Up Dog, and I was about to say, "What's up, dog?" So he wasn't quite.
I mean, this is off topic for sure, but Power of the Dog is the most well-produced, well-done, boring movie I've ever seen.
It was so boring.
It's so boring. However, I only finished it because, as a film critic, I felt I needed to.
It was like boring with hints of Brokeback Mountain. It
actually really liked it by the end of it because it's a different movie than you think it is. And at the end you go, what the fuck did they just, what? Yeah. They did that, but I'm not willing to go watch it again to see all the clues of what happened.
That's like me in episode 3 here. Yeah.
See, I thought I had COVID.
There's the wraparound there for you.
I thought I had COVID, so I watched it locked in my room because I'd run out of things to watch.
If I want to watch a Pee-wee's Playhouse episode, then I'll go back to the little rapid dash carts and
I don't think I could ever watch that again. Like,
here's my prediction: this ends up being the most important episode of the season.
And it could shut your filthy mouth
from it.
No,
there could be a lot. Like with the Rancor, you have the Hutts, you have the Pikes coming in, you have Black Chrysanthemum.
I think you maybe both just don't like Act 2. You might just both not like Act 2.
Maybe that's why the Wookiee's so mad. His name sounds like chrysanthemum, which is a flower. It's actually very soft and fragile.
Okay, I gotta get Brian out of here because he's
well, thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on, Derrick.
Take care, Derrick. Happy New Year, brother.
All right, to all the fans out there, may the force be with you.
Join us.